Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. It's Rob here for the Great Wall of Comics. Welcome to a new series, Only My Slabs. All right, so this is the idea of the series here. Uh, you guys have seen me do only slabs on Saturdays where I have guests come on and they show off their slabs. And I keep getting questions, when am I going to show off my slabs? Well, we did do that back in season 1 of Slab Hub, but that was a long time ago. My collection has changed since then. So why not do a series now called Only My Slabs? So each Thursday, I'm going to pull out 10 slabs. We'll go through them, and they'll go for until we get through all these slabs. In the meantime, if you see something in here that you really want, well, for the right price, almost anything is for sale. All right, first book up here, we have Amazing Spider-Man 141. I just warn you, these are not necessarily any particular order other than I'm taking box 1 and going through them and going there. And I put books in alphabetical order within each box, but the boxes just have books that kind of as they show up in the collection or when I move things around, etc., etc. So there's not necessarily a rhyme or reason in case you're wondering. So Amazing Spider-Man 141 in an 8.0. This is a John Romita cover, and it features the first Danny Burkhart Mysterio. So, of course, not the original Mysterio, but Danny Burkhart takes over, and here we have that Mysterio kind of, we got a Sinister Six kind of cover almost, where it looks like we've got Mysterio, Doc Ock, the Vulture, Morbius, and the Jackal. So there we go. Now we'll go straight into Certified Banger. Amazing Spider-Man 252 in a 9.6. What can you say about it? First black suit, first appearance of the black costume, Amazing Fantasy 15 cover swipe, Black Cat appearance, Avengers cameo. And this was a nice pickup from I picked this one up at Heroes Con last year, actually. George Perez art interior. It's first George Perez artwork in the back, but not on this cover. Some people mistakenly think the cover is George Perez, but Astonishing Tales 25, the first appearance of Deathlock. Deathlock the Demolisher. First appearance of Deathlock, Luther Manning, and Major Riker. First George Perez artwork on the last 2 pages. This particular cover done by Rich Buckler and Klaus Janson, right? Jansen. So there we go. I do love this cover. Of course, later on we saw, there's the infamous Wolverine on the cross, or X, but Deathlock did it first. These are books that I picked up for a while. Just a while ago, I picked up a stack of these books just because they were old. I sent some in for grading. I'm not really a fan of the character, so these are books I'm probably going to move on from in the not too distant future. But here's the Atom issue 20 from DC Comics in a 7.5. Challenge of the Computer Crooks. Just says this is Maya appearance. This is from 1965, Gil Kane and Murphy Anderson cover. All right. Next up, we have another Atom book. Another Gil Kane, Murphy Anderson cover. This is the Atom issue 25. The Man in the Iron Mask. That checkerboard cover. This one was actually an A-OK that somebody sent me. I don't remember who it was, but it was kind of cool. It's a qualified label because it says the coupon is cut out of page 11. does not affect the story, but it's essentially it would be incomplete. So if you graded this with a standard blue label, it would be a 0.5. Instead, with the green label, it's a 5.5. And there we got Hawkman with doing kind of like, you think back to that infamous, you had the uh, Green Arrow with the Atom on the cover, right? I think it was on the Arrowhead. And then we also had Hawkeye, who had Ant-Man on the... Here you got Hawkman with the Atom in a slingshot. So, if I'm remembering correctly. Sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. What are you going to do? The brain is like a steel colander. It's full of holes and stuff just goes right through. All right, and the last of these Atom covers, this is features Bug-Eye Bandit. This is Atom number 33 from 1967. So you go, the Bug-Eye Bandit. So of course that means the Atom has to fight some bugs. The world's smallest superhero. Next up, number 7. Look at that. Just like this, we're flying through these 10 at a time. These will be quick, short, simple videos for you guys. Batman issue 92. Here's where we start to get into some fun stuff. This at the time was considered just Punchline appearance. As a matter of fact, this cover art was originally supposed to be for Batman 93. And then they moved it up to be the alternate cover for 92. And 92 was for the longest time, if you counted it as any kind of a key, it was really only just the first cover appearance of Punchline. Now we're in a situation where there's starting to become some debate as to what is the true first appearance of Punchline. Some people are starting to say that this Batman 92 is that first full appearance, with first cameo appearance being Batman 89, and then subsequent cameo first appearance in the Hell Arisen issue 3, which still is often credited as being the first full appearance. Why is there debate? Because really, if you go back and you look at Hell Arisen 3, Punchline only appears in it in the background. She's not actually has any dialogue. She's not integral to the story, and actually was sort of just kind of added in. So the stories go. So what ends up happening is now we've given credit of a first full appearance to Hell Arisen 3, when in reality, if you removed her from the book, the story wouldn't change at all. She has zero impact in the story. That, in my opinion, is a cameo. So I actually start to agree with these new, even though I have several copies of Hell Arisen 3 because I like the character Punchline, I am fully on board if they want to make it so that Batman 92 is the first full appearance and first cover appearance, then I'm fine with that. Because it makes sense and it follows my stance on many other of these debatable questions of which character is the first appearance. It also makes sense that Batman 92 then would be that money book if the character ever became a money character, much like Wolverine as a first full appearance in Hulk 181, because that's the money book versus his first appearance in cameo on Hulk 180. And he's on the cover. So this would be, hey, the cover art, everything else. And of course, she does appear on the A cover as a little chess piece. This is the big art here, the art germ on cover B. Then, of course, the C cover was the 1 in 25 design variant. And there was a 1 in store per variant of this, which eventually in this series you will see. All right. This was I got this book out of a mystery box, I believe at one point. And this is Giantsize XMen #1, the facsimile reprint. Obviously, if this was a 9.8 original, it would be not even on the wall there. That would be in a bank vault. That would just be insane. But no, this is the facsimile reprint. Got it in a mystery box of sorts. At first, this was my first graded copy. Like, I had this before I had this one here on the wall behind me, and if I was fine with it for the longest time until I got that one. Now, I don't know. This is one of those books that is definitely I could see moving on from. It has some value, just because it's a big deal, but meh. Anyways, all right, and this, the 10th and final book for today in our series, is going to be a Frank Miller and Joe Rubinstein book cover, and it's not the one you're thinking of. It's ROM #1, Space Knight. That's right, Frank Miller and Joe Rubinstein teamed up to do ROM Space Knight. You were thinking I was talking Wolverine #1. So here we have the origin and first appearance of ROM, first appearance of Brandy Clark and the Dire Wraiths. Yeah, Frank Miller and Joe Rubinstein art in December of 1979. And that's going to do it. Guys, leave a comment down below. Which of these was your favorite? Hit that like button. Consider subscribing. And tune in again next Thursday for another episode of Only My Slabs. And in the meantime, you collect what you want. Don't listen to anybody, including me. Because I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.